Hello, everyone. This is Dandy Dragon, and I am joined today by Emperor Jarin. And we are
Yo,
we are bringing to you the first community team game we've done, or I've recorded, not one I've done.
yes. No,
And
first one we've ever done. We have
yeah,
never played anything before,
yeah,
um, for sure.
yeah. We've never even played the game.
It's true. What is this game?
What is AoE4? All right, you ready to start off?
Yes, because I already did.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I'm
Where are
pausing.
you at?
40 seconds.
All right, just keep going. I'm gonna double time.
Professionalism.
Yes, we know exactly what we're doing, guys. I'm at
Yep.
30. Okay, and I'm at 40.
Okay. Yep. Fortunately, not a whole hell of a lot happens in the early game.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, it's just a matter of queuing up the vills, sending them to the appropriate resources.
Yeah.
So,
And here I'm kind of just going around the map showing people where sheep locations are at. Keep this in mind when playing Hillendale. Take a good look. You can kind of see where a lot of the sheep are. There's a lot in the middle. There's a little bit along the edge, and obviously there's like one or two behind each player's base and between the players. So if you're out there looking to steal sheep like Dandy, then this is the way.
alternately, you could play a Civ like Abbasid, Ayyubid, or Delhi and barely care about sheep because you get most of your early game food from the berries.
I think that's a terrible decision. Do not listen to Jaren. Everyone should only live off of sheep.
You would say that.
I would, as the man
And then I
who
would slaughter you with my camels. So, anyway,
rude.
let's see. It's about the 2 minute mark.
Yep. But
Um, I just slapped down my House of Wisdom. I don't know what Dandy's doing because I'm not watching his screen because
I'm looking at sheep
he's not
gatherers.
me.
Yep.
Okay.
So a couple things for Hillendale for those who are new or have not played Hillendale or can't seem to win on Hillendale. There's a few things to be keeping in mind. One, you have a lot of nearby food sources, but not a lot of gold sources. So one of the more popular things to do on Hillendale is to go straight to your deer, and then once you get your sheep dropped off, you can then kind of micro all your deer over to your mill, so you have a good drop off location. And you see that with Prime here, he's kind of just gathering up all his food on this mill. He's gathering from that deer, he's supervising it. You can see I'm just laying on the sheep for now, just focusing that. Then obviously Japan is going to do Japanese things where they just kind of use their berries up first. Pretty standard stuff. Jaren over there acting like he doesn't even need food.
Yeah, I ran fairly low on stuff. Decided to play with the deer, see about pushing in deer like you can in AoE 2. You can do it in AoE 4. It's just not as effective due to the way that the mechanics
Yeah,
work.
it's a
So
little bit
I
harder
quickly
to.
abandoned that endeavor, and then I slapped down the mill next to the deer.
Yeah. And you got some vills in queue, so it's not like you went
Mhm.
too long without vills, and you can get
Yeah,
with that many vills on deer, you should be able to catch it back up and make sure you're not missing your villager times. Over
I
here,
think I do end up missing one or two vil. Uh,
oh,
I think I idled my TC for longer than I would have liked, but anyway.
yeah. Hey, well, you could have done it. Like it's just deer you gather 25 automatically, not 10 like the standard.
Right.
So you when you're in a situation like this, you would forcibly drop off like right now, and
Hmm.
then you would be able to like you have enough food there to get multiple vills actually, which is kind of
Yeah.
the nice things with deer is that you get that increased carry capacity from the beginning.
Yep.
So,
So
with the lack of gold in base, a very popular strategy on Hillendale is to wall up these small openings onto your hill and then just get backline trade. Sometimes you can be lucky and you'll get your neutral trading post in the corner, which makes it very easy to wall in, which gives you the best trade route possible. But this is also very manageable, as you'll see later in the game. Jarin will secure this for us, as he is the
Yep.
person that is on that, or the closest to that trade location.
Yep. Closest to the trade, I'm Ayubid, which means that with my casino wing, I'm able to use my gold income to go to different resources, and then just get traders really quickly, which is where I got those 2 free traders without needing to build a market. I will end up building a market kind of soon-ish. I know I build one before the 10-minute mark, but at first, I just go with the basic trade because I'm too busy fixing my eco, basically.
Which is fair enough. Now here you will even see that the opponents are getting their deers killed. This is a mistake that this player has made. The Malians, Tenryu. What you would have wanted to do is get a mill out there and then herd all the deer around the mill. That way you could avoid having them so spread out. Now, during this, I'm going to do what many consider to be a very dandy thing, and I'm just going to be spamming nothing but knights, because that's how I have fun in this game.
It's also a pretty decent strategy. Have one player in your team just go full feudal harass to try to slow down the opponent's boom, especially on a map like Hillendale that's already prone to big boomy games. Like if you can get one player into the enemy backline and slowing down the enemy team's eco, like that'll automatically put you at a distinct advantage because you are gaining resources and not having to invest too much in military as a team, while your opponent is forced to make military investments that they probably wouldn't want to at this point in the game.
And on top of that, one thing you will get from all this is that you're, even if you didn't go eco on top of this, if you are getting more villager kills than what you would be getting in terms of your additional vills, you are increasing your value. Now, a big thing that I like to do is always have a scout with my knight to make sure I'm not missing out on my charge bonus, because the knight does not have good vision, to say the least.
Right.
So making sure you're taking care of stuff like that is very important. Now, see, I messed up. I went about 5 seconds there without producing vills. I am scum. I drag my team down, guys. It's true.
What a French move.
I know.
Not building villagers because they're too busy microing with night harass.
Yep. Now, one thing that is good to do is just kind of force your opponent into situations they don't want to be in, which is like, for instance, this green player. He is not able to gather food anymore, though it looks like he's got enough food there to last for a bit. But, you know, if I slowed them down for like a couple seconds, every second they're not gathering is resources they're not getting. And see, he's not even producing vills right now. He's doing stuff. And I got the kill on the vill over there. Suddenly, that second TC doesn't look so good now, does it? It's still good. You should... Honestly, if you're not sure what to do in a team game, getting 1 to 2 extra eco sources...
Extra town centers?
Yeah. Whether it's a town center in a market or something, whatever combination is more efficient, you want to try to do that, because at the bare minimum, going like 2 to 3 TC or 2 TC in trade or TC in double market, whatever, that amount of extra resources will allow you to just spam units in castle, and castle units will just put in work. Yep. And here we see the French Knights doing French Knight things as per usual. Malians.
Yeah, that got a good number of kills on the Malian player.
Yep.
Very nice.
Yep, and I'm securing the one area I know that they don't have walled up, so they can't stop my knights from coming in. Malians will do this very often, where they will not go second TC or even get their trade online right away, but instead will do what is known as the cow boom, where you just buy your cows for 90 gold apiece, and each one gives about like 50 food a minute. And there's a bit of miss micro on my end, as I'm trying to maneuver multiple sets of knights. And you know what? It'll be fine. We'll make it
You
work.
do shut down that stone wall from the green player, which is a nice little get. and
Yep.
then you shut down the eco, the gold eco
Mullions.
from yellow again. Meanwhile, I'm over here in the left corner building up a big stone wall to make sure that our neutral market can't get harassed. And if you click my trader, you'll see that he's bringing back 183 gold now with the cross map trade to
Yep.
that neutral market.
And that is
So-
almost the equivalent of like 2 Vils at this point in the game, which that's great. That's something you want.
Yep.
I mean, and yeah,
And having
and-
secured that for our whole team means that theoretically everyone on our team is going to get some crazy good trade.
Yep. And one of the nice things about this, because of my early harass and the fact that Joan went for early 2TC, they're not harassing us while I am harassing them. A little bit of a micro mistake here as I lose a couple knight and a scout, but I will save the rest here. Or is it just a knight? Just one knight.
Yeah, just one knight.
Yeah.
Not bad considering the fact that it's pure spearmen attacking you.
Yep, and I get
Then you get
some.
that stone wall killed, which is good.
Yep, and I get some Vil kills on the mullion simultaneously. And what value this is bringing is that they're more focused on defense than offense, allowing our team to boom. You will see that Prime, who's a very high level player, has been able to get away with double TC and granaries. So he is going to be able to just spam infinite units here soon. Meanwhile, Jarin here is able to get the trade secured. He's able to get trade going for himself, thus boosting his economy. And
I'm also
then-
getting stone walls up to make sure that my side of the map can't get harassed. We see our teammate HitmanHippo in the purple getting some palisades up as well, which just leaves the right-hand side of the map unwalled. And since Prime is an extremely skilled player and could probably handle any harass that comes his way, it's not too concerning to see that spot unwalled. And then Dandy Dragon is in the blue, just spamming knights towards our opponent, so he doesn't need to worry too much about walls anyway.
Yep, and I'm up here up to about, it looks like about, well, it's going up right now. About 16 Vil kills so far this game.
Nice.
Getting a good value. And sadly, I am losing a few knights due to rally positions. They've really started to secure that wall. So now I'm just going to do whatever I can to focus down Vils wherever I can. Just because I need to play some catch-up myself economically. I made the mistake of not making traders for a good long while, which means that my economy will be behind my allies. But that is what all this knight harass is for, is that is the equivalent of me getting about 24, 22 Vils ahead of everyone else in terms of the economic disparity that I'm creating. Which is that's the value of knights, you know? That's what makes them good. And slowing down a French player, especially as one who's on 2TC, if you can keep French economically starved, you are going to be doing a lot of value for your team. French harass, like as it clearly can be seen here, those knights can get a lot of value. So if you can just keep the other French player or the other Japan and Castle player from being able to go around and attacking your allies so they never lose their economic lead, you'll be in a good position. And we do see Jarin and Hitman are doing a lot of work making sure that the HRE player is not just getting these relics for free. He is having to expend a lot of resources. He's losing a lot of monks. Like, this is not the situation he wants to be in. And simultaneously...
Very cost-efficient trades for me and Hitman. I'm just... These Bedouin soldiers are 150 gold for 2 of them. Per pair, and I didn't have to build any barracks or other military production buildings to get them. They do, like, I only get 4 trade options from the Bazaar Wing, or the Casino Wing as it's sometimes called. But when you get the Bedouin swordsmen or skirmishers, like, it's never a bad idea to grab them because it's just easy military, especially because I'm investing so heavily into trade.
Yep. And now at this point, we do see that the opponents are feeling like they are having to play a lot of catch up. They're making additional TCs. Their Teal is not producing army at this point, or at least not much. He is still just on one school of cavalry, and that's likely due to the fact that despite going 2 TC, he has less vills than I do, and that is not where you want to be as a double TC French versus another French. Now, on top of this, we are seeing at this point Prime is walling in his base. He was informing us that his boom has peaked. He has finished. So what he's going to do is go in and wall up his side of the map wherever he can see really quickly. And that's going to allow him to not worry about his base very much while he focuses all his micro on fighting his opponents, which that was the whole point of my harass we had discussed beforehand, is that I'm going to keep them busy while the rest of our team kind of booms up as much as they can, or as much as they feel like they can afford to. And Prime felt like he could make his way all up to 107 eco, if not more, and just keep going.
Yep. Yeah, which is quite nice, especially for a China player. Like, all this eco is pretty great.
Yep.
I am at what, 75? Like, it's been a while since I've done any real games in AoE4, so I'm kind of rusty. So I'm like just kind of trying to maintain my boom while getting the defenses up.
Yep.
So,
and this is the nice thing. Our whole team at this point has more eco than our opponent, minus Hitman, who is focusing more on a castle timing than he was on eco, which is fair. That is what Japan really specializes in. He's getting relics, denying relics, getting your Shirus and forges. Like, his economy is actually much better than it would appear on paper, so to speak, when you just look at your economic count, which is, that's where we want to be. And Mounted Samurai beats a lot of Castle Age units, especially other knights, whereas they deflect the charge attack, or the first hit that hits them, which is the charge attack, thus allowing them to get their charge off but not their opponent's. So, a very powerful Castle Age unit.
Which is also why you see him basically going pure Mounted Samurai for his army, because there's practically no reason to build anything else at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So.
And at this point, at about the 18-minute mark was where I'm at. We kind of see everyone is kind of postured up. We've all done our early harass. Everyone has started to get stone walls. So everyone no one is ready to go all out, because any attack that's done without proper setup will just be causing a lot of unit loss for no gain.
Lost eco, you'll just be throwing away your military without getting anything in return.
Yeah. So
everyone's just kind of building up right now. You can see I've invested in some barracks by now, getting out Gulams, because those are just a very good generalist unit, and I saw a lot of spears from my opponent. I've got 2 archery ranges. Don't have anything building from them. Eventually, I'll want to go into Desert Raiders, because with Malians, Jean, and China, like, you can expect... Well, Malians and Jean, you can definitely expect a lot of cav. Looks like our HRE opponent is also investing pretty heavily into their knights. So getting the Desert Raiders will give me a nice camel unit that deals bonus damage against cavalry. So I'll be able to take out any Sofa or knights.
Yep.
In a very cost-efficient trade.
On the fight here with HitmanHippo and myself, We decided to pull back his eco. He may lose a few vills over it, but what is going to end up what happened here is that I was able to get all my range unit to snipe all his spearmen, and then his mounted samurai was able to very easily deal with all the knights. So despite losing 5 villagers, which is something that he can easily recover from, the opponent lost an entire army, which is obviously a horrible situation. Now,
Yep.
hit
And
hit
while all this is going on, we can see Prime up in the north, trading out with Yellow's Sofa. Like the Palace Guard, I don't think are the most cost efficient units, but with Prime's eco being where it is and his Palace Guard being Imperial, versus yeah, just the Veteran Sofa, the trade is going quite favorably for Prime.
Yep. The resources, resource to resource trading in terms of the value of the units themselves, is 100% in the favor of Prime here. And now he's even able to get on Teal's villagers a little bit, which is rough. Teal has been suffering under this harass all game, and is just pumping everything he can to fixing his economy and going Imperial to try to get some very strong quality units out. But if he can't secure gold for himself, that's going to be very rough. And this is where we see situations where getting trade is so important, because while they're on the map having to risk a lot of vills, 25, 30, 40 vills on a gold node, we don't have to. We may have 10, 10 each, 15, something in that nature, and a majority of it is just in the background, just gathering passively, which is very safe. 176. Our gold per minute in terms of the amount of resources or the amount of units getting it, it's much better than our opponents. And yeah, right there we do see Prime decided he cut back his vills because he had too many, so he could improve his army. And he just got a ton of vill kills there on the other Zhone player. And that Zhone player, despite being at the 22-minute mark, is down to only 56 vills despite 2 TC. His economy might as well make him just out of the game.
Yeah, his eco's in shambles. You also see there's no trading going on from the opposing team either, which really sucks, especially for the Malian player, because the yellow Malian went for the Saharan Trade Network, which gives the Mali traders extra food income with the toll outposts, and there's been absolutely no benefit to that landmark at all because he has no trade.
If you were the Malians here, having gone Mount Sokori would have just been the better decision, because at least you'd be getting something out of it. Because right now that isn't. And now we do see Green has set up because of Prime's harass. We've decided to make a push together as a group. While he dealt with all of the spearmen, he is now going to move out of there, and he's going to let us do cleanup. And we're just going to have mass mounted samurai, mass knights, mass arbaletiers, and we're going to be pushing in on Green at this point. Now, here in the more southwest, we do see Orange is posturing up
getting ready to attack me.
But he's making the fatal mistake of having no siege.
Right. Yeah, where is his siege? He's only got 3 mangonels at the moment, which he knew about the enemy. He knew that I have stone walls up here. So the fact that he didn't come with any siege at all is honestly kind of surprising. Since, when you know that your opponent has stone walls, you know that you're going to need something like trebuchets, mangonels, even mass rams to break down the opponent's siege, the opponent walls.
Yep.
So he's got 2 bombards in production, but not having them when his army showed up is not great, because it is allowing me to get these keeps up. I've got 2 keeps in production. I'm definitely going to finish this first one. I don't remember if I finished the second.
Yeah, and this is a bunch of wasted time. And now Jarin at this point can just go in and take this fight while he's ahead, because the camels will 100% cause his
The
lancers.
camels debuff the knights,
Yeah.
the enemy knights. They also, I have them in range mode because I know there's just so many spears in the enemy force that there's no real reason to have them go melee at this point. Um, so little bit missed micro, lose a bunch of the raiders, but it doesn't really matter too much.
Yep.
Like I'm so rich that I can afford these losses.
Yeah, he's able
I
to
have
just pump the knights out. And now
I have
I'm also going to
130.
move in and support this defense with my non-cav units, which is going to kill all the spearmen, which basically all the things that could counter his camels are going to die in seconds. A little bit of
Yep.
micro on my end to make sure I avoid the mangonel shots. At
Yeah,
least a
and I'm
couple of them.
microing to try to kill the mangonels. And while all of that's going on, Prime is sending his Palace Guard spam directly into Yellow's base. It is devastating him.
Yep, and Malian, this is where that player has made a huge mistake. Malian's strength is in the castle timing, not the Imperial, and they never got their trade up online. If they had worked around either one of those concepts, they would have been in a much better position. But now he's going to have mass Palace Guard all over his base. He doesn't have a Imperial unit that can fight China efficiently. And now we even see Hitman coming into support to just wipe out everything they can in yellow, while I keep Green's attention and force him to continue building new locations.
So I
And
will
supports
argue in
more.
favor of Malian imp timing, just because the Musafati gunners are amazing. Like they do more
That's true.
base damage. They have, like they're just better hand cannoneers. And with the Fort of the Huntress, like the first strike from stealth, dealing double damage means that you can do some massive alpha strikes
Yes.
against your opponents. Like just completely devastate enemy front lines if you were using that ability correctly.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Malian player
Did
is not.
And we did see a mistake by Prime, who forgot to finish a wall, which allowed a bunch of Sofa to get into our trade line and kill a bunch of traders and of Prime's eco. But this is nothing we can't recover from. Soon we will have military getting over there. I'm microing a little bit poorly as I was trying to get on several fronts. But I will just kind of focus that myself in a second. Meanwhile, the other zone player now is getting targeted by Hitman and Prime, and there's very little either one of those players can do to really like sustain themselves at this point. And I do agree, Malian does have a good timing, but you have to prepare for it, and China's is definitely stronger, in so much that Nest of Bees will beat any of their good infantry blobs. And Sofa,
Yeah, but Malian get cannons.
It's true. They get culverins.
Which,
Culverins are
yeah,
amazing.
culverins, that's what I meant. And while all of that has been going on, like we see that my army got wiped out in the left-hand corner. Now Orange is finally able to bring some cannons to my walls. Gonna break down very quickly with the 4 cannons, just blasting in, and pretty soon we'll be rerouting the trade from this extremely profitable neutral market to the slightly less extremely profitable safe markets that we have behind our base.
Yep. And it is always good to make sure that you have backup trade positions, whether you have additional trades throughout each end of the base, even throughout different parts of the base. So that way, if certain areas are getting harassed, if we had trade in my base, like if we each just had one market, we would cut the trade down by a third, but none of it would be dying. You know, so that is a little thing that can be done that can really help. Now, I am preparing what I like to consider my Death Star Legion over there before I went to go assist Jarin. Due to the fact I know if I bring over too little of a force, it won't make an impact that can actually stop this push. So getting enough military that can actually handle the fight is better than just throwing the military away if we can hold a defensive line at all.
Yep.
So
And you
there,
can see orange kind of mismicroed their bombards. I'm able to get clear up the bombard legion with just a handful of my gulams. Very nice pick for me. And he finally notices, but it's a little bit too late. He's going to lose everything fairly soon
yep,
between me and Dandy.
yep. Too shortly, I realized it took me too long to realize that I was going against spearmen, hand cannoneers, and I'm going to lose a lot of knights. So this is where if I had all of those siege units that I had earlier, all of those Revolquins, in that fight, this fight would have gone very, very differently. Though getting rid of the siege alone, just with Jarin getting the bombards, I got most of the mangonels. That is going to give us a much better position. And here soon I will get the proper Death Star and be able to get that going. I, obviously, having committed a lot of heavy gold units that fight and lost them, and having had my gold, my trade getting killed, on top of the fact that I had focused my early game to being aggro, not eco, I didn't have the ability to just pump out an army immediately, but I am working on it. Bit of micro getting worked on. For those who don't know, I'm actually not a very fast player. I rely a lot on shift clicks.
Hell yes.
But throughout all of this, while the late game Imperial HRE, which HRE and Imperial is one of the strongest civs in the game, in my personal opinion. They can just pump out infinite gold units with their free relic gold. They have the best top two, or I would say probably top three, top four men-at-arms, while they lose to things like Jones Champions or the unique military unit, what's it called? The Wingard Footmen. They're not better than those. Those are very hard to get out, very rare. And so the only
as far as generic troops go, the only thing that beats the HRE Men-at-Arms is going to be Order of the Dragon Men-at-Arms.
And Samurai. But those Samurai are anti-infantry specifically, while HRE Men-at-Arms are anti-heavy, which actually makes them better as an all-purpose military. And we do see...
do well against the... they also do well against enemy knights.
Yep. And we see here, Jarin is able to just clog them into a little corner, and his mangonels just completely decimate that powerful army. He doesn't outright kill it, but he does so much damage to it, it can't do a lot of work. So that army just almost got thrown away.
Yep. Now the rest of the team is responding. Prime is sending his Palace Guard spam to finish off the enemy men-at-arms that managed to break through, since he doesn't really need them in his area of the world.
Yep.
Yellow players functionally dead at this point.
Same with teal. At this point, it is green and orange who are completely carrying their team, and they're so focused on killing Jarin, and all the reinforcements are going down to support that bottom flank, that it is secure. So I am free to now go finish off the Chinese player, and I get royal cannons and just normal cannons, royal Revolquins and normal Revolquins, mass knights, hand cannoneers, and arbaletiers, all on the Chinese player's base, including starting to take out the Great Wall Gatehouse here now. So this is effectively going to stop any military pushes from green, as that is all of his military production that is now just under my control and going to get decimated. Meanwhile, teal is just getting the last remnants of their base removed. Dead. Yellow has all been removed. So at this point, functionally on their team, all that is left is the HRE player.
Yep. You can see Yellow trying to build a town center in Orange's base because he's realizing that his side of the map is not safe. Yellow or Teal doing feels the same like thing. They might have given up. I don't see a town center from them.
North of green.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
too
not
far away.
It's too little too late at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He has only like 3 or 4 villas building it. He barely has any trade in the background, and Prime is on his way already. And yep, at this point, green was just decimated, while orange continues to try and flood into the south, this is a large mistake where he needs to go
And here
defensive.
comes the surrenders.
Yeah.
Like we just see green surrendering. We'll likely see the rest of the team tap out fairly soon as well.
Yep.
Teal, yeah, I mean, they hold on for a little bit longer than I thought.
Yes.
We could probably speed up
Yeah, let's go to
if we want. I
the
think
times 4. There's very little left to see at this point. This is just a 4v1
it's
versus
just orange trying desperately to push into me while the rest of his team is getting slaughtered.
Yep, teal
Orange
surrenders
versus
here.
world.
And you know what? Respect to the guy for doing everything he can, you know?
Right.
It was too little too late. Mass knights, cannons, palace guard are just flooding his base. And yes, 4 royal cannons do beat Keep's emergency repairs, for those who are watching that. The damage from royal cannons that's a normal cannon. There's a royal cannon. That is functionally 800 damage versus buildings. So,
damn, Daniel.
I know. And Jarin, watch your language. We are child friendly on this.
Oh shit.
I
My
know.
bad.
Cover your ears, people. Don't let your children listen to this stream.
Right.
No, and that, that was it. That is how team games are played on a very booming map like that, especially where you can be defensive. And whether it's harass or boom, it's very clear what is possible. Any final notes on that, Jared?
No. Like, that was a good game, I think. Like, both teams did fairly well. Both teams had some misplays. Like, it was pretty evenly matched, I think. I think the biggest issue from the opponent was Orange not helping keep his allies alive, going instead for trying to base race the opposing team when he couldn't do that.
Yep. I also think that the Prime versus Malians was 100% Prime favored, and the one big part of in team games is that if one of your opponents can dominate another opponent, then it
quickly snowballs out of control.
Because it goes from a 1v1 to a 2v1, from a 2v1 to a 3v1, and then, like you saw, then a 4v1. So if you can keep all your opponents busy and stuck in their base in 1v1 situations, or stuck in your base and you're just not dying, like what happened with Jarin, where they were just stuck fighting at his wall, then if one of your teammates can go in and just steamroll one, there is very little a team can do at that point to really keep itself in the game. And I think that's it. Thank you all for joining us today. We will continue to get team games out there from the community, whether it's games that we do, me and Jarin, ones I do with other players, or just community members in general that want to kind of show some games, whether it's their mistakes or their wins, whatever it could be. Maybe it's a combination of both. You all take care.